using them two things either side of your nose, you've probably already noticed we've got plenty of storage for film. So we can carry 2 rolls of net or all this film. Right, so when you're baling, material's coming in under the rotor and into the bale chamber. So material runs up rollers, falls down. Comes back up, falls down. More crop goes in, the more it starts this rotation mark. And if you have a quick look before it gets wrapped, when it comes out, you'll almost see a star shape in the middle. This is the folding that it's making the bale. So once the chamber is full, that's when it puts density on. Right, so people still call open centre chambers like soft centre bales. Yeah, it is a softer centre, but it's not a soft centre bale. People think soft centre, you just poke your arm through it. Like, you ain't going to do it with these. They really pack the pack material in. So you're baling away, material's going in, dropping forward, rolling, compressing. And the question came up on the last one: how fast can you drive? All right, here today, probably 50, 60k. All right, normal, we'd be looking sort of 6 to 8k, wouldn't we? You know, in a reasonable crop. But you gauge your forward speed by that. It's pointless going really fast and then sitting waiting for that to finish wrapping. So ideally you can gauge your speed, so whilst the next bale is net wrapping, you're tipping off. There's your good forward speed, there's your maximum output. You're not killing yourself, you're not bouncing, hitting the roof or anything like that. But Taylor made a good point to the other guys is, it's alright going fast, but when you're going fast, that bale's not in the chamber rotating. The more it rotates, the denser it becomes. And you'll see this with both balers actually. If you drive along and you've only got a couple of metres left to go, just stop, leave it rotating, and you'll see the density drop. And then you can creep forward, put the last little bit in. Alright? If you just drive straight into it, you'll block it. So the more the bale rotates, the greater the density. So on this, we're looking at about 1.5 meters per second of surface speed. On that, it's about 2 meters per second. All right? Good question for Corey there, ask him when you get there next. Okay, so the more it rotates, the better the bale.
I think on like a fixed chamber baler as well, that like once you feel the pressure come on, it's important to slow down so that then it is getting more density. Like you can feel it. You know when it starts moving.
Right. So anyway, when we're baling, density is increasing. Tailgate's being pushed back. It's trying to push the tailgate back. It's being held by a hook on each side. So at the bottom of the hook here, we've got a couple of transducers. So they're trying to be stretched. As they're stretched, they're sending a signal to the computer. It's telling you your density. So they, one on each side, tell you your density. It also is your bale shape indicator on the screen. So you've got 2 little bars that are doing this as you go. All right? Total and utter waste of time. If you can't make a bale with one of these, I could tell the other group, go and get another job. Go put cones out on the road. Because that would be... Yeah, well, but that's the level of your skill.
We've got a lot of cones.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't make a bale with a open centre baler, then stop farming. All right. This goes in, the machine sorts it out, and you'll make a good bale. Right. That's different. You need an operator on one of them, but on this, yeah, you just need a steerer. So anyway, they're what govern your density and do your bale shape. So density is set in the cab on the screen from 1 up to 10. The other thing that we've got on this is all of our balers run on single acting tailgate rams. Alright, so the first thing to move when the tailgate goes to lift is the cylinder. The cylinder moves down, alright, so The cylinder's connected at that end of the hook. This is over the roller on the tailgate. So the first thing that happens, the cylinder moves down, takes out the free lift. So your hook is always clear of your roller. Then the ramp pushes. So there's a stop here, cylinder pushes down till it comes to the stop, then the rod pushes. So your hook is always up. So you can't try and open the tailgate against the hook.
Yeah.
Teed in to the tailgate is a net wrap reset ramp, which is like mounted there on the inside. So when you open the tailgate, after the net has been cut, the sensor will tell the computer to open the tailgate. It opens, this ram is teed into the tailgate lift rams. So it extends to reset. When the tailgate closes, because it's big and heavy, tailgate closes, alright? This little ram has got a spring return, but it's only a small dude. Alright, so it takes quite a while to close. So the tailgate valve block on the other side will stay open for 8 seconds. So there's plenty of time for the oil to be expelled out of here. Auto greaser. So pivot points and bearings on these black lines are from the auto greaser. You need a special little adapter to be able to fill it up from your grease tub, or you've got to take off a cap and just put it in manually. Auto oiler. Auto oiler is going all through the white pipes to all of the chains. Chain bar anti-sling oil, nothing else. Chain bar anti-sling oil stick into the chains. Engine oil is going to fly off.
Yeah.
Any other oil, like as the chain's going, when it changes direction, the oil goes there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, chain bar oil.
It sticks to it.
Yeah.
So the oiler can deal with it, obviously.
Yeah. The pump has been the same pump from RP12.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So
And RP12 said you use chain bar, did it?
yeah, everything is chain bar. Yeah. I'll probably have to find a book now and have a read. No, but it is, and you can adjust the pump as well. So there's little screws in it, so you can increase or decrease the amount it's putting on. Right, net feed is via an electromagnetic clutch. So 2 settings for this clutch. One is the delay, and the other is the time it drives. So with the delay setting, you always want material on the pickup when that powers. Right? Material needs to be on the pickup to grab the net, to hold the net tight. Especially if they're doing minimum net. If it's just sitting on the surface, it's going to slip, the bale's going to expand. More so with dry matter crops. So with this, if we were baling hay or straw, you can set this so you can switch the wrapper off, and it will hold a bale on the table. Whilst it's net wrapping the next one, it will tip that first bale off, and then it will transfer the second bale straight through, so you leave a pair together. Alright? Because it's doing all that movement, if you're on minimum net, that bale's going to grow. The net will slip. So you really want net bedded into the bale. People don't like it with feed, because they say, oh, I've got to pull it out, and the cold and the wet and everything like this. If they don't want it bedded in, you've got to put plenty of net on the outside. Okay. So this is set at about half a second. So you've got a pre-warning on the handset for density, which is 80%, is it? Or 90?
Yeah, 80.
80%. So you know when you're going to reach density. So you're watching there, you've got your 80, 100% comes, you flick your shuttle into neutral, put your foot on the clutch, throw the anchor out the back, whatever you're going to do to stop. By the time you've stopped, that little bit of material on the pickup is going to grab the net. It's not a lot. Yeah. So then the other thing is the delay, the time the net clutch drives. So this is adjustable from I think 1 up to 5 seconds. Have it set about 4. Get plenty of drive going on. With that, the bale's turning at about 1.5 meters a second. The net is fed in around about 1 meter per second. So the net feed is slower than the bale speed. So when the net goes in, the bale grabs it, and the bale's turning faster, so it pulls the net on tight. If it was the same speed, you'd have loose net. So it's tight, it pulls it, it spreads it. In this pulley, we have an overrun bearing. So because that's faster, if that was a normal like drive, it would snap the net. But then it goes on to overrun, so it just freewheels in, being pulled on by the bale. It's measured by pulses from this sensor. So it can be a little block, it can be a star wheel, depending on models. All right, that's counting. We want putting 3 wraps of net on. So now the computer knows I want X amount of pulses. When those pulses are reached, then it cuts. All controlled with this little beauty here on this one, this little black box, well, big black box compared to what we used to have. Reprogrammed by USB. So all your techs need to do is get to EDT, plug in the USB, download the software to the USB, ignition off, plug the USB into the port here, switch the ignition on, the computer sucks everything off the USB, and you see a couple of bar graphs going up. Once it's sucked it all in, it will then tell you to remove the USB. As soon as you pull the USB out, it will reboot, job done. Maximum 10 minutes. You're there with your computer. Once you've got it on that stick, you can keep doing balers with that stick, as long as the software don't go off a level. Right, one of your other questions is changing knives. They're not giving you a big sheet to write it all on.
Yeah.
So, hydro, and then at the front we've got springs, which are the flex control. So that allows if the rotor hits a stone for movement. So these are the blades. We took the outer ones out because we were baling a load of crap over the weekend and the edges were all falling apart. So we took the outer ones out, so we've got a decent edge on the outside. Smooth side and on the others are serrated. You only touch up the smooth side, and with like a sanding disc, a flat disc, do it with that. And don't use a grinding stone. Little and often, just think it's a type of self-propelled forager, if you like. Them guys are sharpening all the time, and it's the same with this. If you're cutting grass, they're going to get blunt, so keep them sharp. We have blanks, so if they're not going to be chopping, they do want to take the blades out and put the blanks in. They're held in by a magnet at the front, and then the shaft it goes onto has 2 flaps machined on it. So you have a handle here, there, and there is a decal under all that crap, and you pull the handle out, turn it down, and what that does, the flaps on the shaft, it aligns from there. And you can pull the knife or the blank out. When you put it back in, goes on, you turn the handle up 90 degrees and it locks it. Unlocked, locked. And that's all that holds it in. If these come out, they have not locked it there. No other way that will come out. So to change them, or take them out, or do whatever you're going to do, bring the knives into the chamber, change the on the screen to drop floor, lower the drop floor about 3/4. So whenever you lower the floor, the knives come out. So if you're moving it down 3/4, the knives don't come fully out. You then come, move that handle, pull it out, move it down 90 degrees, and then depending how much crap is in there, you can either pull the knife out, or you've got to just get and give it a wee tap underneath to get it out. Putting it back is just the reverse. Right. Pickup lies. We have a 2.25 and a 2.4 metre. 2.4 metre pickup is fine, right? But if you've got a 2.4 metre pickup, we'll just say you're firing a big combine, yeah, this would make a hell of a mess. You would only be picking up like 1 metre of grass. or metre of straw rather, because these tyres are going to press everything down into the ground. So if you've got big swaths and the big pickup, you've got to get the wheels out. Your tractor has not got to run on the swath. Nothing's going to pick it up if it's pressed into the ground. So always bear that in mind. The baling tractor has got to come out, otherwise you could lose crop with a big pickup. Right? Don't think we've ever sold a 2.4 in New Zealand. You've got one. Have you got one?
Of course I do.
You know you do. Alright, so normally 2.2. Totally camless pickup. So relying on the band to lift the crop off the tine. Alright, with the cammed pickup, the tines follow the cam and get drawn out to the crop. With the camless, the pickup is just rotating in a circle and the profile of the band lifts the crop off. 5 bar. I'm not great on the specs. Crop press roller. So we have movement on the fork. It also moves laterally, like so. And we set the height so we're not riding on the stops, we're riding on the chains. And we want the crop press roller to be pressing down on the swath. A little bit difficult here, but in normal conditions, your crop press roller wants weight on the swath, so it's levelling it out before it goes into the baler. Stops a lot of lumps. And you know you're about right, because if you watched it from the side, that should be turning about the same speed as your wheels. It looks like it's just one movement. Pickup height chains. Anyway, run your pickup on the chains. Right? If you look here, this is not a bush pivot or a bearing pivot or anything. It is just a profile cut out, running metal to metal. It is not designed to be following the ground with the wheels. You'll just wear all that out. So run the height on the chain, and then set your wheel so you can just about get your hand between the wheel and the floor. Your wheel is there to lift over obstacles. If you run it on the wheel, the pickup will dive in to ruts. Yeah? So always run on the chain. Diverter valve here. So we have one service there, one spool which operates pickup lift, hydroflex floor and knives. So we just change it on the screen to whatever we want to use. So just a hydraulic diverter valve. There is a pressure switch in there of 45 bar, which gives you the brake back for the knives. That feeds an accumulator with 45 bar every time you move the knives in and out. All good?
13 knife unit, 17 and a 25. 25 has two banks of 12 and 13, and the 17 is 9 and 8, so you can have all knives in or either bank. And if you really want to get real complicated, you can pull odd knives out just to...
So you see all these lights flashing? This is only on first power up. None of these lights work when you work in the switches. It's just a self-test. So we can work anything here from the cab. If we work it from the cab, then all the sensors are working. So you've got safety protection. You can't collide. If you work it from here, you just say, rings up. I can turn the ring now, and I can smash that into there. I can move the transfer arm up into the bottom of the tailgate. There's no safety. I'm the safety. Yeah? So you've just got to be very careful. When you're going to press a button, make sure that you're pressing ring lift and not ring rotation. That you're pressing table and not transfer arm. Right, so a couple of key points. Standard at 70% stretch. We have over there gears for 55 and 90%. Never seen anybody use 90, but 55 they could use for doing real high quality horse age. normally on a variable baler, because you'll make a smaller bale, and then you'd wrap it with 500mm film. You wrap it with 500mm film, take this unit off, move it to there, you're wrapping with 500. The stretch you enter into the handset for the setting up, for doing the layers, is where the film goes onto the bale. So we've got 750mm film here. When we stretch it, where it goes onto the bale, it will be around about 630. That's the measurement we enter into the handset. So different films, different temperatures affect the stretch. Alright, so if you're in a really, really hot area, that could be coming down to say 590 or something. So that's what you need to enter in, and then the machine will calculate the correct overlap on the bale and the bale speed. It's using sensors down here, sensors on the roller, sensors on the drive, counting pulses from the home position, so you're actually turning the bale correctly at the right speed to get the right overlap. Endless belts, 25mm of belt will lift 750 kilos. So you can imagine the width of that belt, and there's 3 of them, they're really strong. They can cope with a ton bale quite easily.
Just quickly, is the TW the same where you've got to put that measurement in of your net? Of your...
Nah,
Okay.
nah, that's pretty much push and play, I think.
Okay.
So would you actually measure what to
Yeah.
measure to
Yeah.
say what you got?
Yeah, when you first start setting a machine off or demoing one, put it on. Once you've got a bale, you can press pause on the handset, and then even if you come out, work it manually, or when it's halfway through, press pause, measure the film, then you know. I always start at 630. It's a real, like, majority is somewhere within 10mm. Yeah. That about the, I think you don't have to, because that's pretty set. It doesn't wrap on layers, it wraps on rotations. So that's going to be set at a, like your valve governs your overlap. It's about 10 years since I set one of them on. Right, bale. Right, so it'll press transport. So into the handset, you've got a transport button, and it will fold up. So if you're changing, you've got to go down some narrow races or something from one paddock to another. Press transport, and she'll lift up. When you then just go baling, and when you've done baling, well, when you've made a bale, she'll automatically come ready to collect. You don't have to change it back. So you set on manual tailgate. So you go off, make a bale, come back, and we can transfer. So it's actually used quite a lot in New Zealand, manual tailgate, when you're working on the banks, because like you can bale, and you don't want to transfer because you're probably at that sort of angle. So you just level her up, press the button, and transfer. Really concentrating